Trusted Profits, it's the formula here. We are capping the card. I am capping the card for Saratoga this Saturday, August 9th. Woo! Getting close to the end of summer here, but we still got plenty of summer left. We got plenty of Saratoga left. A few more weekends at least, and we got this weekend coming up here. Not the biggest one in terms of the stakes races, but there's a few good ones in there, and it's Saratoga, so always worth the cap. Always worth the cap. As you know, I'll be taking you through what I think are the safe plays and the value plays, one in each race. Haven't done this in a while since I've been on vacation, so I don't have any recent recaps, but yeah, I feel like we've had a pretty good season here at Saratoga. Let's walk through it. We got race one coming at you here. $100,000 per 6 furlongs on dirt optional claimer. I'm going with, I said trust end here, but it is trust fund. Caught the first error. Congratulations. Caught it on myself. Coming from Pletcher, significantly higher winnings, both overall and especially at the distance. 3 wins in 9 races. Has looked good in the last 3. Should sit just off the pace here, which is what you look for ideally. Sitting just off the pace, if you can find a horse that does that. Higher percentage of wins for those types of horses over the course of time here, especially at a 6 furlong distance. Dear Chairman in a 6-horse race, 6-1. That's pretty good value with the size of the field. Best last race, best last 3 races. Gets a jockey upgrade in Jose Ortiz. Jose Ortiz still pretty hot. Be challenging the pace setter, the 4. Could find himself in there, Dear Chairman, into the top 3, maybe even a win. Moving along, got race 2 here. My safe play rivalry. Best numbers at the distance, something I look for, especially once you start getting into weird territories like 7 furlongs. Shown a 3 race improvement, which is always a good sign to see. Is running in his second race off the claim, jockey upgrade to Jose Ortiz. Best win in the last 10 races too. Something we often look for, who has the best win overall in most recent races. He's got that in this one. Hours in a Day has the best closing of the group, which sometimes does come into play in a 7 furlong race. It's a tricky distance. Has the best last race, even though that was quite a while ago, 252 days ago. Sometimes the layoff can give people a negative, but I usually find if I put a negative on the layoff, it ends up hurting me afterwards. 252 days, not so bad. Just means the horse may be well rested here. So you might be getting some extreme value here from Hours in a Day in race 2. Moving on. Race 3, maiden special weight, 90K purse, 5.5 furlongs on turf. And we're going to start with Trading Trouble at 5-2. It was close in his only race. Maker and Pratt, I do believe it's a jockey upgrade here. Provide one of the best combos in this race, obviously. Pace looked good in the last race, sitting just behind the pace setter here. So I feel like this horse is ready to pop. Miami Style, going to give you for my value play, Irad Ortiz on the mount here, getting 6-1 on Irad. We'll see if it actually sticks, because I do feel, especially once you get to these Saturday races, there's more attention put on Irad, and he usually runs better on Saturday. I don't have numbers to prove it. It's a gut feel. Miami Style is also the only multi-race horse here, right? He's got 2 races. Sometimes those third races, they figure something out by that point. They get a little bit more used to racing, and you might see this horse really start to pop before you had seen him before. One time in the money, gets a jockey upgrade to Irad. Got a little punch down the stretch, 5.5 furlongs on turf. Turf you can usually use closing even at 5.5 furlongs. So we'll see what happens with Miami Style. Moving on, 110K allowance race, 8 furlongs on turf. We're going to start 5-2. Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt, Kitten's Joy, White Palomino. Second classiest horse of the group, in my opinion. The 9 being the classier of the 2, although it depends how you measure it. I think White Palomino might be able to get first, but usually I look at like the last 3 or 5 races and average it out. Again, it's somewhat subjective how you want to break down the numbers. Got a 3 race improvement, got a jockey upgrade to Flavian Pratt. Shows solid numbers in terms of lengths to win. So where the horse is with respect to the win, it's either a plus if it's a win, or it's a minus by a certain number of lengths. If it is a minus, it's a small number, hence me throwing the flag here and saying those lengths to win are looking good. 4 times in the money in 4 races, coming off a 1 year plus layoff, but on talent alone, definitely a threat here. Wally World coming close to White Palomino at 6-1. Safi Joseph Jr. shipping one in with Manny Franco, more than ready. Same rating on the last race as White Palomino. Overall, didn't look as good over all of his races, but the last one started to look a lot better. Got a bit of a closing ability here, which at 8 furlongs on turf is definitely going to come into play. Solid speed figures for the past 3 at the distance and at the park as well. So Wally World at 6-1, giving you some value there. This is a pretty deep field. I did like Wally World. Next up, probably could have gone deeper here and given you a deeper cut, but I want to stick to the horses that I think do have a chance here. So hopefully it's 6-1. That horse still gives you some value at post time. Moving along here, race 5. It's a 47K purse, 20K claimer, 6 furlongs on dirt. Amundsen, who's coupled with another horse right now. This might be a single right here if Amundsen sticks in the race. Amundsen looking really good here. Easily the best on paper, best last race, best numbers on dirt at the distance. Horse is 9.5 years old, but hasn't shown any slowing down. 6 wins in the last 10 times in the money. The safest play here is just betting everything on Amundsen to show. I mean, obviously that's going to come down at some point, right? Not going to keep it up forever, but man, the horse has not showed signs of slowing down. Showtime, strong last race, gets an upgrade to Ricky Santana here, 3 wins and 6 in the money finishes in the last 10. Also coming out of Into Mischief, Showtime at 5-1. That would have been my value play, yes. All right, so we've got 2 horses here. We're going maiden special, 6 furlongs on dirt, 100K purse. We got 7 firsters out of 9. I got 2 horses here that in terms of odds are pretty close. I honestly think that my value play here is probably going to come down in value versus my safe play here, but I wanted to put them as they are right now. Handsome Link showed better in his second race in the money finish, closer to the pace, and does have a bit of closing ability, which, could come into play here. I think Senior Lender of the firsters looks easily to be the best. I'm surprised they open at 6-1 on this horse simply because it's Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt. Volatile, still pretty good sire there. I wouldn't put him up there with like an Into Mischief or Practical Move or anyone like that. Good Magic. But still a pretty darn good sire here. I would think that combo would get a better number and is probably going to get bet down by the public more than the one would. We'll see what happens there. I will hold them as my safe and value play for now, just knowing that there could be plenty of movement on those 2. Moving along. Yeah, I know I'm not getting a whole lot of double digits, but I've got a few later on, so just hold a minute for that. Optional claimer, 75K, 115K purse, 8 furlongs on turf. Deception has a solid combo of DeVoe, Ortiz, and More Than Ready. Classing down, a tremendous closing from 8 furlongs on for 8 furlongs on turf. Best winning at the distance, 3-1. DeVoe and Ortiz are usually a pretty good combo there. It's all coming together. I like the formula ratings on this horse, 6-1. I think that this horse could float up a little bit too. I note here that Irad's on the 3 and at 10-1. I think Irad's going to take some money on that 3, to be honest with you. I think you're going to get a little bit more value here on the 6-1. Get better value closer to race time. Yeah, I'm just reading through my notes here. So 6-1, I feel like the 5, you're gonna be okay there. You're gonna be okay. 3 race improvement. I think you're gonna get double digits by post time on the 5, to be honest with you. Race 8, cruising along, 120K purse, 6 furlongs, 100K optional claimer. We're on dirt. Little Knee, best formula figures for the surface and distance at 3-1. Mark Cassie, Jose Ortiz. I'm picking Jose a lot, but he's been hot, so might as well. This horse has also run well at Saratoga, good for the park, getting closer to the pace, and is always close to the finish. So that's something that I mentioned before. A median lengths to finish is strong for this horse. Jose on the mount helps, obviously. Maximum Meritus at 6-1. and I feel like this one could float up again. Another horse always close to the finish, 70% in the money, had the best last race at 6 to 1, and a number that could float up. Feel like you're going to get some value out of the 3 horse Maximus Meritus. All right, moving on to race 9, Saratoga. Saratoga Oaks Invitational G2, worth $500,000. So I'm going to play this, but it's only half.
$1 million.
Divide by 2. Laurelin, numbers set apart from the other 5 horses. Like we mentioned with Amundsen before, the numbers just look way better for Laurelin than the rest of the field. Best win of the group as well. Perfect 4-4 lifetime. So definitely feeling it with Laurelin here. I do want to note, though, that my value play with Dylan Davis on top coming from Churchill, Evershed, this could be the upset of the group here. If anyone's going to beat Laurelin, and right, horse can't go undefeated forever. Going to run into a match at some point, and why not be Oaks Invitational here? Last race is the closest one in terms of value to Laurelin. Solid closing ability, which you want at 9.5 furlongs. You're getting a jockey upgrade to Dylan Davis, who's not only outstanding at Naira, but he's outstanding at Saratoga turf, right? He pulls up some of these upsets. You always get good numbers from Dylan Davis. I always refer to him as the Jinx lovingly, because I feel like if he has a horse that you leave off your ticket, it is essentially jinxing your ticket. It will be Dylan Davis that beats you in Naira if you leave him off. I've just been in that situation so many times. And again, I said this is purely out of respect for Dylan Davis that I call him that to myself and a few others around me. This horse has also been improving over the last 3 races, so you hope that that would continue on here at Saratoga. So the 4, Evershed, Dylan Davis, Arnaud Decolor. That would be my value play here. Moving on to the Sword Dancer. This one is worth
$1 million.
times 3/4. Yeah, so you're getting 3/4 of a mil here for 12 furlongs on turf. It's really, if you're talking about safe plays, it's between Farbridge and Nation's Pride. Those are the 2 obvious ones here, the Appleby, Nation's Pride. I did go with Farbridge, though. Clement has been strong at Saratoga. I really like the season he's been having so far. It's difficult to refute otherwise. And then this horse, 5 wins in 10 races, runs well at the park and at the surface, always close to the finish. So I did feel like Farbridge was probably a little bit more of the safe play here. If I'm going to give you a value play at 10 to 1, and he's also entered into Colonial, I believe, at the Arlington Million. I hope he sticks in this race, because I think you get value out of Grant Sonata. It's had some of the best adjusted race times, solid closing ability. It's a horse that gobbles up distance and gives great value here at 10 to 1. Todd Pletcher. Race 11, allowance race, 110K, 7 furlongs on dirt. Going double down on Brown. Alieska didn't look good last time out, but the rest of the speed figures, formula speed figures, look good for me. The last 3 times, best win and ability to close far superior to this group at 7 furlongs. That could come into play here, even on dirt. Pace should be set by the 8, challenged by a few others. So a closer like Alieska could end up opening the door for us here. And then Limes Don't Lie, the 2 horse at 5 to 1. Dylan Davis, Chad Brown. I feel like that's probably some pretty good value right there. Don't know where that number's going to float to. Yeah, strong last race. Looks best at the distance too. So I think that is something you might want to consider, especially at 7 furlongs, which is a funky distance in my opinion. Let's wrap it up here. Okay, so this is the horse name that spell check horse that is really bothering me. So I've got Fiddle Light Cayet and Optus as having the best last races of the group for this allowance race, 95K purse, 9 furlongs on dirt. We'll just call him Fidel. Fidel Cayet. Oh, this is killing me. Getting a jockey upgrade, Ricardo Santana, showing a 3 race improvement, 5 times in the money. Tell you what, though, especially as a bailout play, the 9 horse Optus, at 9 to 1. Best numbers at the distance, good closing numbers, gets Joel Rosario on the mount, 3 wins, 7 times in the money in the last 10. I think you get some outstanding value out of the 9 horse here. Maybe that's the bailout play at the end here. That's the one I'm sticking to. Hopefully the number stays and you do get that value. All right, that wraps it up. Saratoga, Saturday. It's happening. It's happening. Those are my thoughts. Let us know what you think in the comments. And as always, have yourself a lovely race day this weekend.